Hey all, welcome to AllieCat Customs. Today we're getting the rear suspension snatched out of this truck so we can get it ready to start putting some speed parts in it. So y'all stick around. All right, y'all, so the goal today is to get the rear suspension tore out of this truck so I can start throwing some speed parts at it. But before I do that, I want to give y'all a rundown on what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So in drag racing, you want to get as much pressure as you can on the rear tire so you can get as much traction as you can to launch and get out there and get a good 60-foot time. You get that good 60-foot time, it really reflects on your 1/8 mile and your 1/4 mile time. So that's what we're doing is we're going to be upgrading his rear suspension as well as the front suspension so we can transfer weight back and really get a controlled apply of pressure to his rear tires. And this truck here is just a leaf spring style rear suspension. And what a leaf spring is basically you have this long spring that goes from the spring hanger in the front and it travels back here to a shackle in the back. And I mean, a leaf spring, it locates the rear axle, it holds the weight of the vehicle up, as well as propels the truck forward. So it's just a long spring, and when the spring compresses, it acts like it gets longer its eye-to-eye length will change because the spring is like a U. So when it flattens out, the eye-to-eye length will get longer. And when it droops out, when you go over a bump and the rear suspension droops out, the effective length of the leaf spring will get shorter. So that's why you got to have a shackle in the rear here to account for any of the suspension. The leaf spring length changes. So what we're trying to do is trying to make the front part of the leaf spring work better. One of the negatives of a leaf spring is the fact that since it's a U, when you apply pressure, when you apply horsepower to it, it tries to turn it into an S. So as the tire is trying to turn this way, the equal and opposite reaction is it's trying to turn the rear end, it's trying to climb the pinion up. And since it's mounted to the leaf spring, as it's going, trying to turn the axle this direction, the tires are going this direction, it'll cause this part of the spring to bow up in a S formation, and there's no real way to control that from the factory. So this truck here actually has Calverts, Caltrack bars. They're really some of the best traction bar setups for what we want to do with this truck. But it needs some more upgrades because those factory leaf springs can only do so much. So we have some Calvert split monos, as well as a spring slider to go back here to upgrade from these spring shackles because these really do bind the rear suspension up a lot, and we're trying to get as much quick movement in the suspension as possible. So I'm about to blow this apart and get started throwing speed parts on it. So one of the big upgrades we're going to be doing is actually removing the staggered shock setup that come on these trucks and putting both shocks behind the rear axle and standing them up. Putting a set of double adjustable shocks on the rear will really help us dial in the launch on this truck, being able to control the compression and the rebound settings. So from the factory, they did the stagger shock to try to limit wheel hop, but we already got the wheel hop taken care of with the cow tracks. So it's going bye-bye and good parts going on next. Man, oh man. You know the saying, if you set your goals low enough, you can be able to achieve them and feel like you have a really good day? Well, that's basically what I ended up doing today. Didn't have a whole lot planned for the truck, but I really wanted it, the rear end sitting on jack stands. So I got that goal accomplished. I got to get some stuff off my workbench, and I'm also waiting on parts, which is kind of holding me up as far as getting the rear end built. But this rear end is going to be really nice when I get done with it. We're doing a gear change in it. I'm putting a C-clip eliminator kit in it. I'm going to narrow it 1 inch on either side for a total of 2 inches. And I got to clean all the brackets and stuff off of it so we can do the double adjustable shocks for the rear. We'll stand them up, and also going to put an aftermarket sway bar on it. So I've got a whole lot of work ahead of me on this truck. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you come back because I got a full build series on this truck. I'm going to show everything I'm doing on this truck. I'm going to break it up and try to enjoy doing the work on the truck. So if y'all enjoyed it, make sure you like and hit subscribe, and keep on coming back right here to AllieCat Customs.